freedom's the answer. What's the question? You're listening to Ernest Hancock.
I want to break free. I want to break free. I want to break free from your lies. You're so self-satisfied. I don't need you. I've got to break free. God knows.
Yep. God and everybody else knows I just want to break free from the lies. Well, you know, if we don't give voice to those that disagree with us, we can't really get a full perspective on the issues that motivate a large percentage of our population to allow or encourage things that maybe we don't like. Now, we have our guest is Les Rayburn. He's been in the military for a long time. You do 35 years in the Army, you get to have an opinion about the Army. You serve a couple of tours in Vietnam and in Iraq, and you be a highly decorated combat veteran. You have an opinion that we'd like to get shared with us. Now, what I got, Les, from your opinion is that whenever our forces are engaged, whether we're with NATO or other coalition forces or whatever it is, U.S. better be in charge. Is that your advocacy?
Well, yes, but that's a side issue. But yes, I think the U.S. should be in charge, and they should be in charge because we pay the bills, and they should be in charge because we normally know what we're doing. And, American soldiers ought to work for American commanders.
Well, we have other coalition forces that, should they be under our control? Let's look back to Kosovo, where it became a big issue with conservatives that you had a gentleman named New. Now, I can't remember if his name was Michael or his father was Michael.
And you know what? The guy should have been court-martialed. We formed coalition forces, and U.S. forces are going to...
Well, let's go ahead and tell the story of what was going on. I'll let you go ahead and tell it. Share with us what the issues were.
I really can't remember the whole thing, but when the guy fell under the command of a coalition commander, he refused to fight. There's a big difference. There's a big difference between falling under the command of the United Nations and falling under the command of a coalition-type commander. In Iraq, a lot of our soldiers fell under the command of, say, of a Brit commander or an Australian commander because they were part of our command structure.
Okay, before we get into that, I want to definitely get your opinion on that. But let's go ahead and tell the audience what we're talking about. There was a young gentleman that he was homeschooled. It probably had a lot to do with it. He joins the military. He goes to Kosovo. He has, his American flag insignia on his sleeve. He's got his, Kevlar helmet. He's going out and tell me what to do. I'm your soldier. Then they said, nope, we're going to take off any American insignia, put a blue beret on you. Now you're NATO and you're under the command of this French general. And he said, no, I'm not doing it. That is not what oath I took to defend the U.S. Constitution under my commanders, blah, blah, blah. So it became a big issue for years. Well, now we fast forward, we go into the second Iraq war, and you were in the Desert Storm Shield, I would imagine, right?
First one, and second time as a contractor.
So now we're here. So you're a contractor here in Iraq this go-around.
Correct.
So now we have, either before and now, we'll have soldiers that joined the United States military that are often, put under the command of a foreign commander. But the United States should lead these military excursions and opportunities to go kill people and blow stuff up. We need to be in charge, except when there's a coalition that's headed by someone else. The soldiers can be under the. You got to reconcile that for me in my head, man.
Okay, you're. No, this is real easy. We can go around and around and try to confuse the issue, but we're talking apples and oranges. We're talking tactical and strategic. We're talking small unit tactics. We're talking when I'm talking a commander, I'm talking about it down at the base level. When say a colonel or down at the unit level, where say an Australian or a Brit down at a unit level is commanding some guys on the ground. That's one thing. When I'm talking about commanding an operation, when I'm talking about commanding, say, an operation at the level we're talking about, the Libyan operation, then strategic level, and that's at a war level, as opposed to fighting a little battle down on the ground, and there's a big difference.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and give a scenario that probably you'd be in support of, is we have the United States leads this NATO coalition to go in and do whatever we're doing in Libya, and we'll talk about that in a second. But on the ground level, we have SAS forces, special forces from the United Kingdom are there already, and they're getting them, hey, we need some reinforcements, whatever. Here comes a battalion of, or even a squad or a platoon, and they come in, and they're under the command of a British commander. That's okay as long as the entire main operation is U.S. controlled.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at Libya and what was the stated goal, humanitarian, save civilian lives, blah, blah. Did you believe that? Is that why we're there?
I don't know why we're there. I haven't figured that part out. I don't know how old you are, but...
I'm 50.
Okay, then you're not quite old enough to remember Killing for Peace. Back in Vietnam, all the peaceniks, the war protesters, that was their thing, killing for peace. After a while, you start believing it. The war protesters were killing for peace. I don't understand that. We're humanitarian reasons. We've got jets bombing tanks, and that's humanitarian mission. We're destroying Gaddafi's army, and that's a humanitarian. No, it's not a humanitarian reason. We have turned into the rebels' Air Force. That's what we've turned into. At first, we weren't going to go at all. And then we said, okay, we'll go do a no-fly zone. And then it turned into total offensive operations. Now, we can call it what we want to call it, but these are offensive operations. When you take a fighter-bomber and you have somebody on the ground designate targets, and to say there's nobody on the ground is absolutely ludicrous, to say there's nobody on the ground designating targets. When you take a fighter bomber and you destroy an army's armor, that's an offensive operation. When you take out strategic installations, that's an offensive operation. That's not a humanitarian operation.
No, you got the first cruise missiles are going after Gaddafi. Who are we kidding? So
I know, and so we had the president, we had the Secretary of State, we had the chairman of the Joint Chief of Staff, and we had a poor Army general that I absolutely felt so sorry for, because you could tell this guy was biting his tongue.
When we come back, we're going to talk about the definition of kinetic warfare or military action or whatever the heck that is.
Oh, yeah, because I want to read you a...
No, Les, they're going to push the button on me, man. But when we come back, Les is eager to share that with us.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it when we come back in just a little bit here on Declare Your Independence.